Hello everybody for the Board Game Geek Gang and myself, Rob Oren. Welcome to War and Pieces. Well, where do we start? Well, before we can talk about the present, I think it's smart that we talk about the past. Now, wargaming has been around for thousands of years. Whether it was medieval times when they were just taking and playing some type of game to test each other's mettle, to Roman times when they were just basically planning things out. Wargaming was always there. Did you guys even know that H.G. Wells, the famous writer, was an avid wargamer? Yes. Maybe that's what caused him to make War of the Worlds. He said, the heck with this stuff, let's bring some Martians into the whole picture. See, I would do. But it has been around for forever. Militaries have used military simulation games back in the day to actually plan out battles and also test mettle and try to figure out ways to train their generals through wargaming simulations. Well, this got out in the public in the early days, and everybody wanted more. So in the 50s, a game called Tactics and Tactics 2 came out from Avalon Hill. It was a smashing success. It was blue versus red. Two sides just coming together and trying to conquer each other, and with terrain and bridges and tanks and military, and it was revolutionary. These two games set the standard. But it was plain Jane. It was just red versus blue. It wasn't until Gettysburg came out that we actually had a scenario and a theme to it, where it was the Civil War. After that, there were all kinds of games, particularly one of these games right here, which is Afrika Korps. Now, I would have showed you the other ones, but they're piled up with all the other war games I have. We have plenty to look at over the life of this series. But Afrika Korps was set in, of course, the Africa War during World War II and the German occupation. It was a fantastic and a game that was ahead of its time in 1964. But later in the 70s, Avalon Hill started to streamline things, and things really went crazy with these box set games like Panzer Leader. Now, today we're going to take a look at these two down at the table, and I'm going to show you how ahead of time they were and how these maps were, especially with Afrika Korps, and how nice they were for that time. You gotta remember, that was an awful long time ago. But we have to look past before we can come to the present and even look to the future. So I think this is a real good look to show you how things were and how simple things were. So let's head down to the table. Now, as you can see, this is just a huge map. I can't even fit the whole thing in, and I'm actually going to move some of it in and out here, and it just spread out. And this was just 1964, and this was the quality that they were doing. So it was groundbreaking, absolutely groundbreaking. Everything was just so simplified, and you had your charts, your allies, and how they appeared. These games, these old Avalon Hill games, if you can find them, you can usually find them on eBay and stuff like that. Just very simple rules. Very simple. Everybody thinks that wargaming is very complicated. There are complicated games, but you have games like this that are just so simplified and just running off a chart, learning about reinforcements and terrain and how these battles came together, and how the heroics of so many people that put their lives on the line just went through and did these incredible battles without any fear, just doing what they had to do. And it's just an incredible games. And you know, I actually even have some of the old stuff here just to show you guys the old Avalon Hill. But Avalon Hill was one of the main people, and then of course they went to their box format, so we're going to show you that too. Here's a Panzer Leader, again using the same formula where you're using a combat result chart. And then, of course, as you can see, this one is untouched historically, which is fantastic. I just recently got that. But as you can see, this is just a little bit more simpler. These were the bookcase games, and how these boards came together. You would put all these boards together and battle it out, and had like 10 scenarios that came in a bookcase. This was the age of the bookcase. and then which eventually came to where we're going to be talking next week about modern day board games and how everything has changed and really brought beauty and elegance with technology, and now you can fight these battles and just enjoy a whole thematic experience. Let's go on top and get on out of here. Well, there you have it. A look at these two historic games. Now, as we're going through this series, we're going to be talking a lot more through the history, and we're going to be talking about ASL, Avalon Hill, multi-man games, and how that whole thing came about. All these wonderful, wonderful games, the SBI series, and so forth and so on. But the most important thing about this series, and that we're going to be doing going forward, is we're going to start talking about entry-level games. For those of you that are board gamers out there, and that are just looking to maybe cross over and take a look at this, there's a ton of games, and I really want to start bringing out games to you guys that you guys can get into, because some of you might just get hooked and become war gamers, not just board gamers. Or maybe you just be gamers. Yeah, that's the most important thing. You can have a love for both. And I think the passion of the war gamer and board gamer are similar, and this is what this whole series is about. So next week we're going to be taking a look at some of the games that are present, now that we've seen some of the things from the past, and we're going to take a look at how technology has changed things and how some innovative people and companies have really changed the way wargaming is. It's a lot more friendlier than you think, folks. A heck of a lot more friendlier. So, for Board Game Geek TV and their wonderful website, I'm Rob Oren for War and Pieces, and until next time, we'll see you soon.